Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be doing Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas crochet kit, making 0. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are moving forward with this Nightmare Before Christmas. If you've missed any of the videos, you can go to my crochet playlist and find the characters that we've already made. So we're going to be doing 0 today. I'm hoping that this is a lot quicker and easier to do, since the last character we did was Dr. Finkelstein. It was excruciating. Okay, so for this are the materials you need to use. I have my own stuff. You know, like most of us just can't go out and get all these things, so just use what you have. It does ask for wire. It's asking for a lot of stuff actually, so I don't know. Anyway, so I have my 2.75 millimeter crochet hook, and I forget the brand of this, but it also has the letter. So if you have a C hook, that's about the same size. If you have not yet, go ahead on in your hobby store or Amazon and get these stitch markers. They'll help you count your rounds, your rows, or your stitches. These are very helpful and life-saving in my opinion. Okay, there's more things that we'll need, but we'll bring it out when we get to it. If you need to speed up or slow down this video, go click on the gear button in the corner of the screen. There'll be playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, you can lower the volume on your phone and then click on the CC button. Like with every video, every time there's a new instruction or a new stitch, I will go over it slowly 3 times. And then thereafter, I'll do it my own speed. So if you need to rewind back and see it again, do so, or pause it so I don't skip ahead while you're trying to make this stuff happen. Okay, so let's start. We're going to be doing the head, and we're going to be using white, and we're making a 5 single crochet stitch or adjustable ring. So I have this somewhat white one. I think I used up all my white, so I have this one. All right, so to do a adjustable ring, this is going to be for righties. If you need a lefty in any of my videos, please comment and I'll throw it onto my list. I have a huge list, so bear with me. Okay, to make an adjustable ring, we're going to take this white thread and we're going to wrap it around your index finger twice, once, twice, and you want to leave a little lip of yarn here because we're going to take our middle finger and just hold it down. You can tighten up your strands here if you need, but we're going to palm up, face your palm to the ceiling, and we're going to take our hook and slip it underneath 3 of the strands. And then we're going to pull this strand underneath these 2 with the hook. So hook that strand and drag it underneath the 2 strands. Once we have done that, we're going to do a yarn over. So put your yarn over the hook. That is a yarn over. Then we're going to pull this strand through the loop. So we'll do that. And now we've closed off our adjustable ring. You can let go of your middle finger. You can slip the ring off your index finger. And now we can start our chain 1 and 5 single crochet stitches. So I'm going to gather up some yarn here. Okay. So what you're going to do is, to chain 1, you have to yarn over and pull that through the loop. And you have your chain 1. Now we can go ahead and do our 5 single crochet stitches. So to do a single crochet stitch, stick your hook inside the loop or adjustable ring. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch and our chain stitch. Let's do another one. So put your hook into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have 2 single crochet stitches, a chain stitch. Let's do one more with you guys. So put your hook into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch. I'm just going to do 2 more of these so that I can have 5 single crochet stitches in total. 1 and 2. So now we have our 5 single crochet stitches and our chain stitch. We're now going to close this adjustable ring. So what you want to do is take your thumb and your index. We're going to hold the lower stitches of the ring. You're going to want to pull this excess piece out, and we're going to watch to see which loop goes inside the ring first. So let's pull this, and then once you've identified which loop is going in first, you can stop pulling. We're going to pull the bottom half out. So whichever loop moved first, you want to pull that lower half out, and you're going to see the other loop pull in. And we're going to keep pulling this till that other loop is completely disappeared into the adjustable ring, just like that. And then so now we can take the excess piece and pull this out so that that second loop can pull in, and again pull it to where it disappears in the adjustable ring, just to tighten it up a little bit or close that little hole if you have one. You can pull in the opposite direction and up, and you'll get just a little bit more out of that, and then we're done with this. Okay, so we are gonna go take our marker, and I think this kit comes with at least 4 or 5. We're going to slip this underneath the last stitch that we've made. So top loops, the front and back loops, we're going to slip this marker right underneath it, like that. And then we're going to close the marker. And then we're going to move on to round 2. So for round 2, it says single crochet stitches in all 5 stitches. So let us count 5 stitches from the hook just to see where we're sticking in our hook. It gets a little confusing in the very beginning after the first round. So count back 5 stitches. That's starting with the stitch with the marker in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook into the 5th stitch, front and back loops, just like this. Okay, and then we can do our single crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to go into the next stitch over. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then I just have to do this 2 more times. 1 and 2. Okay. And then I'm going to put another marker here. But before I do that, because we just did the same number, this is automatically like curling into itself. And we have the excess piece still sticking out here. That's how you know that this is the wrong side showing. Try to take your pudgy fingers like mine. If not, hopefully not. we can just flip this inside out. Be very careful with it. We want to flip it inside out. Now we have this excess piece we have to deal with. As we climb in our project, we're going to hide this excess piece inside. So I'm just curling this into that little well that I've created by flipping this inside out. Then I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to mark the last stitch. And I know that we're working very tiny, but you know, this is the nature of the beast, and hopefully as we grow this project, it'll be not as difficult to hold and handle. All right, so now for round 3, we're going to do an increasing stitch and 4 single crochet stitches and end up with 6. So let me show you what an increasing stitch is. An increasing stitch is basically doing 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So put your hook into the next stitch, okay, like that. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. I'm going to stick my hook back into that same stitch we just used. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So I have 2 single crochet stitches. Now I'm just going to do 3 single crochet stitches. So into the next stitch, do a single crochet stitch, and then into the next stitch, do a single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do 2 more of these. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then the last one, single crochet stitch again. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take another marker and we are going to mark the top of the last stitch. And you know what? You can actually remove these other 2. We're not repeating rounds. Some people like to keep them all there so they can count the tabs to keep track of all the rounds, but you don't have to do that. Okay. So for round 4, we have a single crochet stitch in all 6 stitches. So this one's pretty straightforward. Into the next stitch, do a single crochet stitch. Into the next stitch, single crochet stitch. Into the next stitch, single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do that 3 more times. 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you don't pick up that excess piece we're trying to hide. Okay. All right. So I'm going to remove this marker and I'm going to replace it at the top of the last stitch we've made. Okay. And then we're going to do round 5. So now for round 5, we're doing this round 5 through 10. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So for these rounds, we're going to do an increasing stitch until an increasing stitch and a single crochet stitch until the end of the round. 12 stitches at the end of round 10. So these are always never fun for me. I'm going to gather up some yarn here. I like to gather up a lot of yarn so I don't have to keep grabbing, but you don't have to do that. This is actually like, I feel like it's always like a barbaric way of doing it. Not so posh, because sometimes I'll put a big wad there, especially if I'm doing like a longer project. Not attractive, but I don't really care. Okay. Okay, so let's do our increasing stitch into the next stitch. All right, so again, that's pretty much just 2 single crochet stitches in 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. I'm just trying to make sure that that little excess piece from the adjustable ring is not getting caught in my new stitches. Okay, so into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have our increasing stitch. We're going to do 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we have our 5 single crochet stitches plus the 2 increasing. So you should have in total 7 stitches altogether. I'm going to take my marker, put it at the top of the last stitch we've made, and we're going to do the next row. So into the next stitch, do your increasing stitch. 1, 2. And then since this row was supposed to have 7 single crochet stitches, we are now going to do 6 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, plus the increasing stitch, so now you should have 8 stitches in total. I'm going to grab my marker, put it at the top of the last stitch we've made. Then we're going to do the next row. So we are going to do an increasing stitch. Okay, and since this one was supposed to have 8 stitches, we're going to do 7 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So plus the increasing stitch, now we have to have 9 stitches on this row. I'm going to take our marker and place it at the top of the last stitch we've made, and we can move on to the next round. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do our increasing stitch. 1, 2, and then I'm going to do 8 more single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, plus the increasing stitch, so we should have 10 stitches all together. I'm going to put the marker at the top of the last stitch we've made, and then we're going to move on to the next round. So increasing stitch, 1, 2, and then since there's supposed to be 10 stitches, we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, plus that increasing stitch, so you should have 11 stitches altogether. I'm going to take the marker and put it at the top of the last stitch I've made, and we're going to do the 10th row next. So into the next stitch, do an increasing stitch, 1, 2, and because there's supposed to be 11 stitches on here, I'm going to do 10 more single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have completed this set of rounds here. I'm going to remove the marker and put it at the top of the last stitch I've made. I'm also going to remove the other markers as well. We don't need them anymore. Okay. All right, so we have 12 stitches in total. For round 11, we're going to do an increasing stitch 3 times and then 9 single crochet stitches and end up with 15 stitches. So into the next stitch, we're going to do our increasing stitch. Into the next stitch, do our increasing stitch. Into the next stitch, do our increasing stitch. And then we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, we're going to remove the marker, place it at the top of the last stitch made, and then we're going to move on to round 12. So for round 12, we have an increasing stitch, a single crochet stitch 3 times, and then 9 single crochet stitches after that, and end up with 18 stitches. Okay. So into the next stitch, let's do an increasing stitch, a single crochet stitch, then we just have to repeat this 2 more times, increasing stitch, single crochet stitch, repeat this 1 more time, an increasing stitch, a single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Remove the marker, slip it underneath the top of the last stitch made. Okay. So now we're going to be doing rounds 13 through 16. So 13, 14, 15, 16. 13, 14, 15, 16. And then we're doing 18 single crochet stitches in all in every row. So I'm going to be doing this in silence. Okay, so we did round 13 through 16, 18 stitches in every row. I removed the markers. We're going to do round 17, which is an invisible decreasing stitch, a single crochet stitch 6 times, and we're going to end up with 12. So into the next stitch, I'm going to show you an invisible decreasing stitch. So to decrease, it's basically taking 2 single crochet stitches and making it into 1. So I'm going to show you how to do an invisible decreasing stitch. So in these projects here, in every stitch you have the pretty braid that I always talk about. You when you're holding it this way facing yourself, this side of the loops are the bottom loops, and then front loops, and then the ones on the top are the back loops. So to do an invisible stitch, we gotta stick them in the front. So how we do that is, instead of going through both loops like we normally do, we're gonna go under and go only through the front loop. So now we just have the one loop on our hook. So in some cases you'll have the back loop, so you'll go from top down and pick up the back loop, but this time we're going through the front loop. So stick your hook into the front loop of the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, then we're going to go into the next stitch over, and we're going to put the hook through the front loop. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3. So we just took 2 single crochet stitches and made 1. So after we do that, we're going to do a single crochet stitch. You'll put this one in the front and back loops, so you want the whole braid on there. We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull up a loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So now we just have to repeat that 5 more times. So again, an invisible decreasing stitch. Into the next stitch, put your hook under, up through the front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, from under, up through the front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. And then we're going to do a single crochet stitch into the next stitch, front and back loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have to repeat this. I don't know how many times. 1, 2, 4 more times. I lose count so quick. So invisible decreasing stitch into the front loop only, like that, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch from under through the front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops onto your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to do a single crochet stitch, okay, and then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Invisible decreasing stitch, single crochet stitch, invisible decreasing stitch, single crochet stitch, invisible decreasing stitch, single crochet stitch. We're going to remove the marker and we're going to place it at the top of the last stitch made. And I'm going to remove all this yarn off my finger because now we have more instructions. Okay. All right. So we are going to trim a 2-inch piece of craft wire and insert it into the muzzle to give it more strength, and then we're going to stuff the head. Okay, so let me go grab my wire and some stuffing. Okay, so I have my wire here and I have my ruler. I'm going to measure out 2 inches here. Thanks. Okay. I'm gonna take my scissors, and again I would use pliers or a wire cutter. Okay. Then I'm going to get my stuffing. I have some stuffing here. Alright, I don't want to lose, I need more room and I don't want to keep dropping my hook. What I'm going to do is pull out the loop very large so that I don't lose the stitch, like that. Remove the hook. Okay. Try not to keep pulling it. You want to make sure you keep this loop out so you don't lose your stitch. But I'm going to be grabbing a little wad here and I'm going to put it at the very tip of the nose. I want to create that cushion for the end of the wire. Again, I'm not too fond of the wire idea, but this is how they have us constructing it. You have to put this in the muzzle. So slip it in there. And then you can start adding the rest of your wire around, the rest of your stuffing around the wire. Okay. We're going to keep doing this until we have the desired firmness. I got my stuffing on Amazon. I purchased 32 ounces, not knowing how much 32 ounces of stuffing actually is, because it is a pretty decent amount of stuffing. So just be mindful when you buy your stuffing. A little weight goes a long way. Okay. It's practically the size of a pillow, so I am not going to be frugal with my stuffing. I have so much that I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to continue to fill this. I want to make sure I get it around that wire. I want to make sure that the wire isn't the first thing that you touch. Again, I do not recommend this for little kids that could, you know, poke their eye out or swallow the wire. And as for adults, I would just warn them that there's wire in there and they can poke themselves as well. So this is not exactly how I would prefer to have things like this constructed, but that's just how they have us constructing it. Okay. So now that we're near the end, I'm going to put more just to put a buffer, like the end of this wire is just poking right here. So I'm going to try to put as much stuffing after the fact. We do have one more round. It's going to be tough because 6 stitches is tough, but to crochet around all the stuffing would be just as difficult. So pick your poison. I do want to pack it a little bit more just to cover that wire. So however you feel you can do it, I would do that. But I feel like no matter what I do, the wire's gonna find a way. So just be careful. Okay, so we're doing 6 invisible decreasing stitches. So, like I showed you, we're gonna just do front loops only 2 times. And then we're gonna yarn over through all 3 loops, and we just have to do that all the way around. Try to keep your stitching tight, close together, you know, because any time you decrease, it tends to stretch. So you'll have these large gaps in your project. You know, it happens to me all the time. It's really hard. It's really hard to keep your stitching close when you're decreasing stitches. It always wants to stretch to meet the other stitching, but last one. Okay. All right. I'm going to remove the marker because that is the last stitch of the project. Again, I told you very tiny, but I'm going to take this opportunity just to slip in a little bit more to cushion that wire. I'm going to stretch this out like we did before, so I don't have to worry about the hook, and just try to force feed this into the hole. You can use your hook, actually, the back of your hook, to push the stuffing in there. Just want to make sure that you cover the end of that wire very well so that it's not so easy to come out and poke you when you're handling. But there's no guarantee, so okay. Then I'm just going to read the instructions for the final steps for this. Let's see what we got to do next. I'm assuming we're going to fasten this off. Okay, yeah, fasten off. So I'm going to take my hook and put it back into that huge loop and tighten it up. So to fasten it off, let's see. Fasten off, use the needle to pick up all the front loops of the last round and pull tight, close, weave in the end. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a decent amount of yarn, and I'm going to go grab my tapestry needle, and we're going to sew this closed. Okay. This is the least favorite part. So to I forgot to fasten it off in all my search for my tapestry needle. So if you do that, just remove your hook, make a little loop here, and then you can just sew through that loop and then pull tight like you do when you fasten off. Okay, so now it says grab the front loops. So for every stitch, we're going to go into that front loop like I showed you with the braiding, front and back loops. You just want to stick it into the front loop. Okay. Try to clear it if you can. It'll be easier to pull. I think I snagged some of the yarn a little bit. And then obviously you want to make sure that your stuffing is tucked in there. You don't want to grab your stuffing too, you just want to get through these loops. Okay, and once you've done that, then we can pull all of this in we'll see the hole close. Right, and then we just have to fasten it off again. I mean, that's what I'm gonna call it, but it's like tying a knot, I guess. I'm not really great with sewing, as you know, so just figure out a way to make your knot. That's all I can tell you. Okay, then I'm gonna cut to leave about 1 inch or so, and I'm just gonna go just under the surface of this project. Don't catch the fiber, fill, or stuffing, or whatever you call it. You want to come up right where that excess piece is sticking up, and you want to hook it and drag it into your project until it's gone completely. You can go back in again and grab some more if you missed a bit of it. But yeah, then get your hook back. But here we have the head. You can turn it up if you want. Okay, got our little head here. Alrighty. So now we're gonna do the O. We're gonna do the nose, and I'm gonna get my orange. Okay, I have my orange yarn here. Let's see if I can. Okay. Orange yarn. We're gonna do the nose. The nose. That was weird. And we're gonna be doing the adjustable ring. We're gonna do 8 single crochet stitches in here. So again, wrap around your finger twice. Have a little bit of overage so you can take your middle finger and clamp it down. Tighten up the strands a little bit. I'm gonna grab the hook, slip it under the 3 stitches. Then I'm gonna pull this strand underneath these 2. Right, then we're going to close off this adjustable ring by doing a yarn over, and we're going to pull that through the loop. So now we can let go of the middle finger. We can slip the adjustable ring off your index, and then we can do our chain 1. So yarn over and pull through the loop to chain 1. Then we're going to do 8 single crochet stitches. So stick your hook into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch and adjustable ring. Let's do this again. Into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch. One more time with you guys. Put your hook into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch. So now I just have to repeat this 5 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now we have our 8 single crochet stitches. We're going to close this adjustable ring, so you want to hold the bottom half of this ring here kind of gently. We're going to pull this excess string here, and we're going to see which loop goes first, either the front or the back. So start pulling. Once you see a loop moving, you can stop. Alright, so this loop back here is moving. You want to pull the lower end out. So from the loop that was moving in, you want to pull the lower end out. You're going to see the other loop start to disappear. You want to keep pulling that lower end until that other loop is completely gone into the adjustable ring, like that. Then we're going to take the excess piece and we're going to pull that so that the other loop goes in as well. And just to tighten up this hole a little bit, you can pull in the opposite direction and up. You're going to notice you can pull just a little bit more. Pull it till it's a little snug, and that should close off your hole. And then we can move on to the next round, but I'm going to mark the top of the last stitch, front and back loops, and then we're going to read the next round of instructions. Oh, this is an easy one. That's it. Okay, so we're going to do an invisible decreasing stitch 4 times. Ooh, okay, this is going to get really tiny. Do we have to stuff this? All right. Okay, so just from the marker, we're going to count back 8 stitches so I know where to stick my hook. So count 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stick your hook into the 8th stitch, but we're only putting it in the front loop. So like I said, when you look at your project, this loop here will be the front loop, and then the other loop that makes the braid is going to be the back loop. So front loop only. You want to come up from under and up through the front loop only. You want to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to go into the next stitch over, and we're going to do the same thing from under up through the front loop only. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. You want to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's the invisible decreasing stitch. So you just need to do this 3 more times. So up through the front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch over, front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Again with you guys, front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, front loop only, yarn over, pull up a stitch, or a loop, sorry, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then we have to do this just 1 more time, and you can already see that it's curving inside itself. And as you know, when this happens, we just have to invert it. So after I get my hook somehow into the front loop only of this last stitch, and I finish my invisible decreasing stitch, I'm going to remove this marker. I'm going to use my fingers to hopefully flip this inside out. Okay. Take your time with it. Okay. And then that excess piece you have, you can just stuff down there inside the nose. Hopefully it'll just stay in there, but we have to close this off at some point, so just already get it in there. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the next steps, and it says fasten off, leaving a tail for sewing. Use the needle to pick up all the front loops of the last round and pull tight to close. Sew the tip of the muzzle. Okay, so I'm gonna get myself some of this yarn here, cut a piece. Okay, then I'm going to fasten off. So the way you do it without the needle, you want to yarn over and you're going to pull that through the loop, and we're going to pull it all the way out, and then we're going to just tighten up the stitch, and then that's how you fasten off. So now I'm going to grab my tapestry needle, and I didn't make a clean cut, so I'm going to trim this off. Alright, then I'm going to grab my tapestry needle, and I'm going to feed this through the eyelet And then we're going to take the front loops like we did with the head. And again, try to just clear the front loop. Try not to snag any of the yarn, yarn nearby. This will help you like be able to pull the yarn cleanly after. We're just going to put this through every front loop. Alright, once we get there, then you can pull it and you're going to see the hole start to close, as tiny as this body part is. Okay, so now that it's closed, we're going to sew this onto the muzzle. And it's going to go on the tip. So pick your, see, you want to kind of match it to this, the way that it's curving up. If we did it this way, it might look a little weird. So where it's going up, and you can try to turn up the nose even more with the wire inside. But I'm going to try to sew this right on top, on the tippy top. So, okay, find a spot, thread it in. We're not working with much body parts here, so if it's not perfect, don't beat yourself up. Something like this, and then you just have to figure out a way to tie it up. Depending on who you're giving this to, you can double up on this. I'm going to double up. I am giving this to an adult, but you never know. Never know if they'll rip off that nose. Okay. I'm surprised they have orange for the nose. Was his nose orange or was it red? Anyway, I'm going to figure out a way to tie this knot now. Okay, and once you tie that knot, same thing with the head, just weave it into the project. I'm going to bury it inside the head. So you can come up with your hook just under the surface. Try not to snag any of that stuffing. Come right up next to the excess piece, hook it, and then drag it down into the head. And then if you have to go back in, like I think I hit a stopping point, doesn't want to go anymore, you can come back up from where the excess piece is and just drag the rest of it down in there. Okay, do what you need to do. Wow, this one is giving me a hard time. Oh, and look what I did here. If that happens, just same thing, go underneath the surface further down, come back up where the excess piece is, hook it and drag it in to the head. So, okay, so we've got our nose. It's not the best nose. It looks like a lamp. Oh man. All right. Okay. It's not great. What can you do? All right. Okay, so let's turn the page here, see what else we have to do. So for the ear, we have to make two. We're going back to the white yarn. All right. And And with the white, we're going to do 18 chains and all that jazz. Looks pretty straightforward. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So let's do the ear. We have to make 2 of these. I'm going to make the second one off camera. For row 1, we're going to do with white, chain 18. So how to do that is you take your pinky and ring and thumb. We're going to hold the end just like this. Then with our index and middle finger, we're going to hold apart the yarn about maybe an inch or so away. Then we're going to lie perpendicular our hook to make a little plus sign. We're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop around the hook where you can go up and down like that. So let's do it again. Perpendicular to the yarn, we're going to go down, out, and around, make a loop. We're going to bring the hook close to the thumb. I'm going to take my middle finger on my right hand and just hold where it crosses so I can let go of my left hand. We're going to gather up some yarn here. Okay, then we're going to pinch the end of the yarn with our thumb and middle finger. And I'm going to drag the hook back down close towards my thumb. And where I get close enough, I want to pinch with my thumb and middle finger where those two, where it crosses, so that I can stabilize my loop. Oops, I pulled it too hard. I'll do this again. Okay. So right where it crosses so that you can't move your loop up and down anymore. Then we're going to yarn over. And we're going to pull this strand through the loop, right? Then I'm going to overhand my hook. I'm going to continue to pinch the end with my middle finger and thumb, but at the same time I'm going to take this index and thumb and push the knot towards my left hand. And then you want to stop when either the knot is tight and you can no longer push it down, or until you hit your thumb and it can no longer move down. So once you've done either one, then you take your thumb and your middle finger and you pull out that excess piece just a little bit more to make that knot nice and snug but not too tight. And once we create that knot, you want to hold the knot with your index and thumb. We're going to pull it up closer to the hook. So let's do that. You want to leave some space in here because we're going to be working our chain stitches. So now you just created a slip knot onto your hook. We cast it onto the hook. So I'm going to get some more yarn here and we are going to do 18 chains. Okay. So do our chains, we're just going to yarn over and pull through the loop, and that's 1 chain. Yarn over, pull through the loop, 2 chains. Yarn over, pull through the loop, 3 chains. And so now I only have to do this 15 more times. You can creep up your thumb and middle finger higher close to the hook so that you can stabilize your project more. But let's do 15 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now we're going to count back to make sure we have 18 in total. 3, 5, 10, 15, 18. Okay. So now what we have to do is continue on to the next step, but I have read ahead a little bit and we need the wire threading. So this is the wire threading that I have. It's floral wire. This is 26 gauge. So the higher the number, the thinner and I guess flimsier it is. And then the smaller the number, the thicker and more sturdier, I guess. But I want to measure up the length of this chain stitch. I'm going to want just a little bit over it though, because I'm going to do something to kind of maybe help the whole blunt end situation. So I've done this in the last video with Dr. Finkelstein. So if you've done that, you know already what I'm going to do. But if not, I'll show you here. So we have our wire. It's bigger than what we're working with at the moment, but we can always cut it down. So I'm going to have it hug the yarn here. You want to bend over a lip just enough so that you can twist it. You can use pliers. That would definitely make your twisting much easier, but if you go by hand, it's just not going to be a tight spiral, if at all, especially if you have lotion on your hands. But I just want to make sure I tuck and twist the end into itself to hopefully not poke the person you are giving this to. Again, warn them over and over again, you know, because it's not fun. I've been poked by wire before to where like it goes in your finger. Not fun. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to continue on our next steps. So we are skipping the first chain from the hook. That's going to be like as if we're doing chain 1 when we do our rounds, and then carry the wire thread inside the stitches. This is going to help stabilize and shape your ear however you want it. But we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches, 3 half double crochet stitches, 9 double crochet stitches, and then a half double crochet stitch and 2 single crochet stitches. So let us do our 2 single crochet stitches first. Okay, I say this in all my videos. This is how I do it. In a normal world where they have you do chains and then you go about doing your stitching, you turn this on its side here, you see the nice braid. So this bottom loop ends up becoming bottom loop, and this loop here on top becomes the top loop. So when you start doing your stitching, so this one here, it kind of got pulled. I'm going to redo this one. Okay. It kind of got pulled. So I'm just going to redo this one chain here real quick. Making sure I got that wire in there. Okay, now it's like a little too big, but anyway, so that you can see it because it got really pulled and squished. So we skipped the first chain, which is this one. Then we'll go into the next chain on the top loop only to start our stitches. That's the normal way to do it. You can do it that normal way. But the way that I do it is I turn it on its side, and you can see these little humps on its back side. I put them in there because I like to maintain this pretty braid, because you never know if it's going to be exposed. These are ears, so you're definitely going to see both edges. So this would be a perfect opportunity to do it this way. So we're going to skip a stitch into the next stitch. I'm not going to put it at the top loop. If you want to, that's okay. I'm going to turn it on its side. I'm going to put it in these back humps here. So stick your hook into the next stitch, however way you do it. You want to make sure that your wire is sitting on top of your hook. That way when you do a stitch, it'll gather, the yarn will gather it up. So we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And then we're going to yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. That's our first single crochet stitch. We have to do 2 of them. So into the next stitch, stick your hook, and then make sure the wire's lying on top of your hook as well. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we should have 2 single crochet stitches encased around this wire. So next we're going to be doing 3 half double crochet stitches. So this is my favorite stitch, I mention it all the time. You're going to yarn over to start, then you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch, make sure that the wire is resting on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops, and that's a half double crochet stitch. Okay, so we're going to do this 2 more times. So yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch. Make sure that your wire is lying on top of your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop to have 3 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we just have to repeat this 1 more time. So yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch. Make sure the wire is lying on top of the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and we're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops. So now we have to do 9 double crochet stitches. So we're going to yarn over to begin with. You're going to stick your hook into the next stitch, make sure the wire's on the hook. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Okay, let's do this again. Yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch, make sure the wire's on top of the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. One more time with you guys. Yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You have 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So now I just have to do 6 more double crochet stitches. One, two, three, yikes, I'm slipping, 3, 4, 5, and before I do the last double crochet stitch, I want to cut my wire to size. So straighten out your ear here. We are going to see how much more length we have. I'm going to fold it down to where it hits the last stitch. So fold it down, and then you can trim it to where your next stitch is gonna be. Okay. Make sure to throw any small wire away. I would even put it on some clear tape, fold the tape, and then toss it. Okay, but now you see how we have this fold here? I'm just going to pinch it a little bit more closed. I want to leave a decent amount of openness to put our hook head through, but I'm going to twist this end so that we can tuck in that exposed end there. You know, we're just hoping to minimize any exposed wire, but you know, that's not guaranteed, but you know, might as well try. Doesn't hurt to try. Okay, so now we can finish the rest of our stitches. We have one more double crochet stitch to do, so yarn over, go into the next stitch. Okay, make sure the wire's lying on top. We're gonna do our double crochet stitch, and then we have to do a half double crochet stitch. Okay, and then we have 2 single crochet stitches left to go. So 1, and then last one, you want to put your hook into the next stitch, but you also want to put it in that loop that we created in our fold in the wire. And then we're going to, oh, this is so small, it's so hard to, okay, so I'm putting it into that loop of the wire. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop like we would for our single crochet stitch, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So we have our ear made. So we have to fasten off, leaving a tail for sewing. Okay, so again, to fasten off, you just yarn over, and we're going to pull the whole thing through. Okay, then you just pull this end and tighten up that loop, and that's how you fasten off. So we have to sew the ears to the head between rounds 15 and 16. So this time I actually did the second ear right after. I'm still probably going to sew it off camera, but I want to show you after you make your 2. This one I kind of made very loosely, as you can see. This one I made a little tight stitching. It's okay. You know, when you're first doing things, no matter how advanced you are, sometimes you still make mistakes, and stitch uniformity is definitely a skill that you learn over time that can still be broken, especially when you're doing things for the first time. Okay, so I'm gonna feed my eyelet here with the yarn. Okay, and then we're gonna sew this to the head. I gotta count 15 and 16 stitches. Let's see, using wire thread inside your stitches allows you to hold the curve. Alright. Okay, so let's count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 16 is right next door. So let's see how they have the ears. I don't remember. You might have to look at the movie, but I don't know if they're close together, far apart, but this will help. Looks like they're on the top close together. So I guess you just need to find a moment on between the 15 and 16 rows. Try to find your center and then just go by that way. And we're just going to sew this on. You could also stick your needle through the wire loop to really secure that wire to the head as well if need be. And depending on who you give this, again, you can double secure your sewing by making sure you have it go through twice or 3 times even. Okay, oops, I got the muzzle. And then once you get that done, you just gotta figure out your way to create your knot. Okay, and once you do that, we're going to cut our tail down and we're going to feed it into the head using our hook just under the surface. And feed it into your head there. Okay, you could always come back up and grab more if it didn't pull it all the way through. Okay, so we have the one ear. Look how stinking cute. I said I was going to sew it off camera. Might as well just sew it on camera. This is a much smaller project, so I will definitely be able to finish this in one video. And we like that. We like projects that we can finish in one video. At least I do. I'm just going to sew, thread the other ear through the eyelet. And it's getting crazy. I try not to whip it out because they don't give it to you in the kit, but you should invest also in a needle threader. There's different ones, there's different kinds. This is one variation of it. I've seen other flimsy looking ones that work just as well, but this one I call like an umbrella. It looks like one to me. You stick the hook through the eyelet. And sometimes, depending on the yarn, it might not work because the yarn's so thick sometimes. But you want to lay your yarn into the hook and then you just pull it out. And it makes your life so much easier. Okay, so now we just have to sew on the other ear. We want to make it obviously the same row, and you want to keep it somewhat symmetrical. So, okay. Like this. We're going to secure this on there. Make sure you go through the wire also so that that can be secured to the head as well. And then I'm going to double up on this. Okay. And then once you get it attached, then you just have to figure out your own way to create your knot. Okay. Then I'm going to cut my tail, and we're going to hide it into the head. Okay, so now we have both our ears. Oh, right there with you. It's cute sometimes. Okay. So now we have to move on to the face. It's getting a little crazier now because we are really getting into the construction of our little zero. Cut eyes from the black felt, each approximately 1 stitch times 2 rounds. Use 1 strand of black embroidery thread to sew them over rounds 11 and 12 of the head with black embroidery thread straight stitch along mouth rounds 4 through 10 on only one side of the head. Okay, so now we're getting in depth. Let me get my embroidery floss. Okay, so I have my embroidery floss, and then the kit also gave you, so it gives you a tapestry needle. I think it also gives you a smaller embroidery needle. I can't remember. But if you don't have one, a tapestry needle has a wide eyelet for the yarn, and then you should get a smaller needle for the embroidery floss. And then this is where your threader would definitely help. Oh wait, this one. Okay. All right, and we're gonna thread our embroidery floss. I'm going to fold one in half because it creates a loop at the end. That way we don't have to tie any knots in the beginning. You can lay this across and thread it in. If you don't have one, just thread in 2 ends of your embroidery floss like this. And you don't need to tie a knot, just lie it like along, somewhat of a long strand over the eyelet hole so that you can have something to grip on to and it won't come out. But yeah, you get this loop in the end so that you can put it through the loop and not have to tie a knot, but I'll show you that in a bit. But right now we're gonna go cut our eyes. They do give you black and white felt. I've already used both. I do have a little bit of black left. So it has to be approximately 1 stitch wide and 2 rounds long. You can use your project as a guide But I used like skinny yarn, so maybe the width could be a little bigger, because the width would be here covering one stitch. I'm just going to do it a little over, and then if it's long by 2 rounds, it would be about here. So cut, and then to make the other one fairly even, I'm going to lie it on top of this felt as a pattern to cut off. And then of course we did it square. You could always go back in and cut off the corners. You can sew the corners to make it round, but I'm just gonna cut off the corners. Okay, let me just put this back. This is a new detail scissor, so I just want to make sure I'm not gonna leave it out in the open. You can hurt yourself with it. But now I have 2 eyes. It's not perfect, but I think when we sew it's not going to even look the same anymore. So we have that. So if to sew them over rounds 11 and 12. So from the nose, let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this is 11. So we're sewing it over rounds 11 and 12. Shoot. So this is 11 and this is 12. So up here. Oh my gosh, it already with black embroidery thread, and it doesn't tell you how far apart. So it looks like it may be 2 stitches apart. So I think where we have it is okay. Oh my gosh, this is already shaping up. Comment below or click the like button if you've seen this movie, or if you're just doing it for somebody that has seen the movie. Well, I've seen this movie a number of times. It's a good movie to watch. It could be Halloween, it could be Christmas, and it is shaping up. So I'm going to start at any point on this eye here, and I'm going to use the stitches to kind of guide me with how far, you know, I can even out my stitches. Stick it up back through the eyelet. Oh, I think it came out. Well, we'll see. As you get close to this, you see how that loop is happening? We're going to put the needle through the loop, and this is going to act like a knot. This is kind of a cross-stitching trick, so that way you didn't have to tie any knots. Of course, we're coming back around to tie it somehow. Maybe I'll loop it into the next eye, but at least you can minimize moments of having knots. I don't like having knots out in the open like that, and I get like, I think with Jack Skellington and Sally, they looked very constructed in the movie, so it wasn't too bad that they had exposed knots, especially Oogie Boogie. Well, I personally don't like to have exposed threading and knots. It just bothers me. Okay. So we're just stitching around this eye, securing it to where we need to secure it to. And of course, this always takes time, patience, forgiveness, all of the above, especially if you're not a sewer, as I always claim not to be. But we are sewing all the way around. and the felt, because I sewed too close to the edge of the felt, it ripped. So then now it looks like I didn't even sew it. So just be mindful. And I did it again. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the materials you have to use. Right, now we're just gonna go in the eye. You want to make sure you secure these pieces. So however means you need to, just do it. I was trying to be neat and go close to the edge, but that didn't work. So we're just gonna try a different angle here. Okay, and once I get to the other side, I am going to kind of just slip this across. So I'm going to put this in the felt, and I guess I'm going to span 2 stitches, but I'm going to go underneath the 2 like this. You see my needle coming out from the other side. I'm just going to grab the other eye. I'm going to slip that on there like that. That way we can eliminate another moment of knots, and just do it that way. And then we do the same, go around all the way around with the eye. I mean, to English. Sew around the eye. Okay, and in fact, I am also gonna do the same thing to make my way where we have to sew the mouth. That way we eliminate another moment of having to tie a knot. So it's just kind of thinking and planning ahead when you do these things. That way you don't need to risk making it look messy. And this right eye is looking a little dingy. You can see the stitches come out of it, but you know, what can you do? The right eye is a lot messier than I would like it to be, but I just really want to secure this in there. Okay, once you reach the other side, what does it say next? With black embroidery thread, straight stitch a long mouth over rounds 4 through 10. Okay, so let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only on one side of the head. So it has it on the left side. So I'm going to put it through here. So, wait, I missed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so it's going to come out from here. So take your needle, stick it inside the head, and kind of maneuver it to come out around the 10th round like this. So I'm going in like that, and you want to get it to where there would be a mouth. Okay, so I'm going to do that from the eye. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about tying knots here. No tying knots here. We're going to do a mouth. So what I'm going to do is kind of go straight across like this. I want there to be a little smile, so let it like start up here and do a little moon dip like that, and count 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to end right about here. So what you want to do is stick it into the 4th row, make it go up a stitch. We're going to do straight stitches now. Keep your thumb here to kind of keep that little bow of a smile, but we're going to go straight across like this. So as you're going straight, we're going to stick this down here, but we're going to come back up in an angle about a ways from the first one so that we can continue our straight stitch. That's one. Oh, well, they had it do it this way. Oh no, it's not like that. Well, that's booty. Yeah, darn. Okay. Well, they don't want you to do it that way. So I'm just going to remove this off my needle and I'm going to undo it. I didn't look ahead at the illustrations. I did do straight stitches though, but they want you to do one continuous straight stitch. So I'll show you how to do that. Alright, I'm just going to take my threader again. Again, not a sewer. So we're gonna go by row. So what we're gonna do is put your needle into the next row down and try to go back up at the same spot where it first came out, like that. So you have your first one. Then you want to stick your needle back into that same end here. Go down a row. All right. And then we're going to do it again. So come back up right where it came out. And this time I'm going to pop back in. We're making loops. So wherever it begins and stops, you want to try to come back up in the same spot. If that makes any sense. Okay. And we're going to try to make a smile, although I don't think it's going to work this time. But we're going to keep this technique of making a loop around each round. Okay. And I think this is the last 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're gonna do one more round and then we're gonna figure out a way to tie a knot. Okay, so then I'm just going to cut this off and we're going to drag it into the head with our hook. So again, just underneath the surface, avoiding the stuffing. Come up near the excess piece, hook it, and then drag it back down, oops, down into the head. If you have to come back up and get the rest, you can do that. Okay. And then we're going to move on to the body, but the head is looking all right. It's looking better than I thought it would be. But yeah, so here's our head for 0. We are well on our way, but we're gonna move on to the body next. Okay, so now we're gonna do the body. For round 1 with red, we're gonna chain 9, slip stitch in first stitch to join in a circle, and then we're gonna change to white. Okay, this is a different thing that we've done so far in this whole entire book. So we're going to cast on with the slip knot like we did with the ears. So with your ring and pinky and your thumb, hold the end of the yarn here. Then with your index and middle, we're going to hold the yarn about a ways apart. With your hook, lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to make a loop. Take your middle finger and hold it down where it crosses so you can let go of your left hand. We're going to gather up some yarn around our finger. Then I'm going to pinch the end of the yarn here, and I'm going to slide my hook towards my thumb. Right, and right where it crosses, I'm going to pinch so that we stabilize that loop and you can no longer move it up and down. Okay, and then I'm going to do a yarn over. We're going to pull that through the loop. I'm going to overhand my hook. I'm going to take my thumb and middle finger and make sure I pinch that end piece, because I'm going to take my thumb and index and we're going to push this knot closer to my left hand. And once I hit a stopping point, I'm going to take my thumb and my middle finger and pull out that little excess piece here to tighten up this knot a little bit. Then I'm going to grasp the knot with my index and thumb and we're going to pull it closer to the hook. Okay, and leave a little bit of ways here because we're going to do our chain stitching. So we just cast it on with a slip knot onto the hook. Next we're going to do our chain 9. So yarn over, pull up a loop, that's chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, that's chain 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, that's chain 3. So now we just got to do this 6 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you should have 9 in total. 3, 6, 9. Okay. So now we have to do a slip stitch in the first chain to join in a circle and change to white. So I'm going to actually slip stitch with the white. So what you want to do is pull out a huge loop from the hook so you can remove it. Place this aside, we don't need this right now. I have my white yarn here. Now we've done this already. Before, we're going to do this again. We're going to cast on with the slip knot. So again, ring, pinky, thumb, index, ring, finger. Hold this apart, perpendicular with the hook. Go down, out, and around. Slide this down to the thumb. Use your middle finger to hold that in place. We're going to gather up some yarn here, pinch the end, slide it further down to your thumb and pinch where it crosses. We're going to do a chain through this loop here, overhand the hook, pinch the end. We're going to push this knot towards the thumb, Okay. Then once we get to a stopping point, pull with your thumb and middle finger. Slide the knot towards the hook. Right? And then we can slip this off because we need to use it in our string of chains here. Let's put the hook back and tighten up this loop. Okay, so we're going to do a slip stitch around the end here. Here's the last stitch. I'm going to slip my hook into the back hump of this first chain stitch we made. And rather than use the red, I'm going to slip on the white, gather up the white around my finger. Let's hold this a little back so it's out of the way. Okay, I'm going to pull this through all the loops off the hook. Okay, so now we cast it on our, we slip stitch with our white, so we change to our white. Let's see what it has us doing next. We need to do an increasing stitch, a single crochet stitch 3 times, again another 3 single crochet stitches in the next stitch, and then 4 single crochet stitches in turn. So let's see, 1, 4, 5, 9. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, so it doesn't look like we're gonna need red ever again, so we're gonna cut like an inch or so, 2 inches here. There's a little moment of red. Then I'm gonna take this, we're gonna tie it lightly around the white to secure it so that we don't lose any stitches. Okay, tie it twice. Right, and then this is gonna just tuck inside the body. So, but we're gonna continue with our stitches for row 2. So we have to do an increasing stitch. Okay, how I would go about this. I say, how about into the next stitch, and I'm going to just use the top loops, the normal way to do it. It looks like it's not exposing any edges or anything like that. So I'm going to go into the top loop of the back loop of the next stitch, sorry, like that. We're going to do our increasing stitch. That's 2 single crochet stitches in this one. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then into the same stitch we just used, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have our increasing stitch, that's 2 single crochet stitches. Then we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. Bless you. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches in the next stitch. So into the next stitch, do, oops, to the next stitch, we're going to do 1, into the same one, do 2, and then one more time, 3 single crochet stitches. Okay, and then we're going to do 4 single crochet stitches for the rest of this ring here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Let's see what it says. 12 stitches. This is crazy. How it turn. Okay. I'm just gonna listen. So we're gonna turn it. So now we're seeing the ugly side. We are going to chain 1, increasing stitch, single crochet stitch until the center of the row, and then 3 single crochet stitches in the next stitch, single crochet stitch until the end of the row, and you'll have 15. Jeez. Alright, so if we have 12, chain 1, right, we're gonna have 1, and then the center would be 6, so we have 5 single crochet stitches. I mean, you can't find the center of even number. But anyway, chain 1, we're going to do an increasing stitch in the same stitch as we chained 1. 1, 2. Then we're going to do 5 more single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see what we're doing now. Okay, then we have to do 3 single crochet stitches in next stitch. 1, 2, 3. Then we have to do 5 single crochet stitches. You know what I'm going to do, you guys? This is the wrong side, so I'm going to try to hide this excess piece in my stitching here, and I'll show you how I do it. So I'm laying the excess piece right in front of my stitches. When I stick my hook in there, I'm going to make sure I go under the red and then into the stitch, front and back loops, and then I'm going to go about my single crochet stitch as I normally would. I want to hide this piece. I don't want to weave it. There's only one line of red, so you can kind of tell if you're going to weave it in and try to make this seamless. So again, into the next stitch, but you want to come up under the red, and we're going to do our single crochet stitch like we normally would. 2, again into the next stitch, going under the red. It's the third one. And then we just have to do 2 more. One, and then 2. Okay. So that way we kind of tucked it in. You can kind of see it, but it's not terrible. I should have done it before. I just wasn't sure what was going on. You can just cut it if you want. Anyway, so we have 15 stitches. We're gonna turn, turn it. Okay, and we're gonna do markers this time. So actually, let's just take a marker and let's mark the last stitch that we made. This means that we're gonna do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, count twice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so repeat round 3. 42 stitches at the end of round 12. Okay, so we're going to be doing the chain 1. Here, I'll do 1 and then the rest will be in silence. So we turned it, chain 1, we're going to do an increasing stitch in the same stitch that we did the chain 1 where the marker is. So increasing stitch. So we know there's 15 now. So we're going to do 7, which means we have 6 more to do. So 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to do an 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 7 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so you're always going to want to have the total number of stitches divided by 2. If it's an even number, divided by 2. Let the next stitch be the 3 single crochet stitches, and then do a single crochet stitch the rest of the way. But we're going to mark off the last stitch that we do for each row so that we can keep track of how many times we do this. Again, you should have 42 stitches at the end of round 12. But now I'm just going to repeat this whole thing, the row 3, in silence. So we finished off the rounds 4 through 12. I have 42 stitches. This is what it's looking like so far. I was just going to say it'd be great if we put the wire threading on the edge, and it does say to do that. I was just reading ahead. So for row 13, we're going to repeat row 3 one more time, and we're going to be carrying the wire inside the stitches. It also says make a single crochet border along the opening of the body going up the collar, then down to the beginning of row 13. I think because we have wire threading going around the bottom, which will be good to make the form of the base of 0, but I think if we put threading along the opening of the collar of the collar here, that might give it some stability to make it stand up. I think without it, they're relying on you to have the stitches and the rows hold it up. But if anybody knows any better than this, like whenever you wash, if you intend on washing this, I know there's wires in it, but even over time, the stiffness of the crocheting is going to wear, and I don't know how stable it would be to hold itself up. Like if we put the wire, that's great, it is holding itself up, but I think if we added an extra one on the collar, it would just add it like a little more structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of my floral, or my wire threading as they're calling it, and I am actually going to line my project with the wire threading with a little bit of overage. So starting on this side and with a little bit extra over, I'm going to line this up, and then we're just going to work our way around our project, making sure that we have enough to go all the way around like this. And we're going to hit this point, and then we're still going to need more to go around the other side of that collar. So we're going to rotate this down a bit here, and then we want an extra lip to be able to twist it. So we're going to cut it about here. Okay. And then we're going to do this last 13th row with the wire. So I'm going to turn the project, and we are going to chain 1, and then I'm just going to take my threading wire. We're going to fold it down the end and twist it to conceal, or try to conceal that end here. And again, pliers might work better for what we're trying to do. I'm just going to do the best I can with my 2 hands. Okay, once we have that down, I'm going to gather up some yarn here. So for row 3, we're going to do an increasing stitch. After we chain 1, an increasing stitch, and then we're going to do the center of the rest. So if this is 42 divided by 2, we have 21. So the middle would be the 21st stitch of this row. We'll just finish this up here. Okay. So I chained 1. We're going to do an increasing stitch in the first one. 1, 2. So since we have 21, I got to do 20 more single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, plus the increasing stitch, so now we have 22. We are going to do the 3 single crochet stitches in the next stitch, so 23, 24, 25, and then we're going to do the remaining stitches, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. Okay. So we have 45. We're going to continue with the collar. It is holding its shape very well, actually, but the head does have some weight to it, so maybe, hopefully, and you don't have to follow this, you could just do single crochet stitches, 1 per row along this opening here without the wire if you would like to try. This is my first time trying this, so I don't know if it's going to be correct, but I'm just going to continue doing the collar with the wire threading inside of it. So make a single crochet border along the opening of the body, going up the collar, then down the beginning of row 13. Okay. So 1 single crochet stitch per row. So I guess about 13, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, I guess 12 actually. Unless I need to put this, no, yeah, 12. One, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 'Well, maybe not. It's hard to see these things. 9, 10, 11, 12, 'Let's try to hide this guy here. Maybe do like 13 in the middle. Okay. And then on the way back down, 12. I just put one in the center to kind of cover that little excess piece. We'll go back down and we'll do 12. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so I'm going to actually bend this. I'm going to stick this in this little loop. That'll actually, no, I'm not. Because I have to fold this over and twist it. So just fold it over, cut your extra off. Okay. Then I'm going to twist this. And you want to leave a loop so that you can stick your hook into it. Okay. Let me just throw this piece away. Anytime you have something small like this, like I said, if you have tape, stick it on tape, and at the end of everything, you like close the tape up and toss it out. You definitely want to toss it out so that you don't leave it fumbling around, especially if you have kids or animals, they can eat that. Okay, so 3 more. 1, 2. And then for this last one, I'm going to try putting my hook through both of those loops. So this might be extra difficult. We'll see. Stick it through here. Stick it through here. Stick it through here. And then we're going to hook yarn and pull it back out from these loops of wire. Okay, and finish this off. Okay, And then we're going to cut about 1 inch or so. And we're going to fasten this off. So we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out. And then pull. I'm going to take this now and we're going to weave in and out the yarn. And I do have wire exposed, so a plier probably would have been best, but like I said, I don't have pliers readily here. I'd have to go look for it. But we're just going to weave in and out of the stitching. Until the piece is completely tucked away. Any fringes, you can always trim it. Okay. But right now this is inside out, so just flip it the right way. Bend your wire. Yeah, I think that was better. You can bend the wire here because it's definitely adding more structure, which I like. So, and then we can make this all nice and ripply, if that's a word. Like that. Give it some flow. Anyway, now what? And then it just ends. Oh, wow. Okay, well, attach the head to the body. Did I just miss something? I didn't. It just didn't tell you to attach the head. So that would be your next step. So I'm going to get my tapestry needle. And I'm going to get some white yarn, and we're going to sew the head on. It's just crazy, really. But anyway. Okay. So we've got this. I'm going to switch to the tapestry needle, otherwise I'll spend a day trying to put yarn in a small eyelet hole. Get my tapestry needle out. We're going to thread up. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to come up from underneath and we're going to start in the back so we can hide our work. Maybe this should have been red yarn. Darn it. But I used white. So we just need to attach this onto our little doggy here. We need to find the center spot of the bottom side, and we're just going to sew around. This is terrible. All right, so try to thread up through the collar. I'm going to pull through here just so that I already have it marked. I want to leave a bit underneath so we can use it to tie. And then I guess just pop your head on like this. Let's try to make it even. Right, then we're just going to start sewing. Okay, I'm going to go around the head
Oh my God, what a catch. Open.
Okay, I think I went all the way around. I'm gonna go back into under the body, and I'm gonna tie a knot, double knot. Make sure it's nice and tight. Keep the head from falling off. Pull it if you have to, just to make sure that you have all of it tight as well. And then we're just gonna cut this off. You could weave it in there, so maybe I'll try doing that. Or you can leave it. We would just take our crochet hook and then find moments to slip the excess through some of these stitches. Okay, same thing with the other side. Okay, all is hidden, body is attached. We're going to put the wire back down to form the body. We are done with Mr. Zero. I mean, wire sticking out, but you know, what can you do? Again, use a plier to squeeze it, because then you'll be able to maybe put stitches over it. But this is it, you guys. We've got our little puppy Zero. Cute than ever. This one was a nice one. It was relaxing, not as difficult as the other ones. So here is our little puppy. Comment below, let me know what you think of this, how you did. I guess he has an orange nose because they're technically Halloween, is my guess. You can see where I tried hiding the red. It should be hidden right after we changed the color, but I waited and now you can see it poking through. But anyway, so for our next task at hand here, we are going to be doing Spiral Hill. I'm going to have to get a spool of yarn in this color. It looks like it's champagne white, and I believe I have yellow. Not too, what is this? This is probably sewn maybe. Oh my gosh, look at the silhouette. But we're gonna do this next. This might take a bit. What is this? Oh my gosh, we're gonna need a dowel rod. I feel like I need to take a trip to the hobby store. Maybe I can like sneak on Amazon, but Amazon will have you buying like a pack of 12. Goodness. Alright, well that's what we're gonna do next. So if you're wanting to make this, get it ready. I would say too, if you're going to hang it, get a piece of rope. But this is what we're going to be doing next. So, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.